Why exactly are gear prices falling this hard? Are we missing something? So this person was actually talking about one of the Apollo Thunderbolts, Apollo X6, that he paid around 2,400 for, and for some reason on Sweetwater right now it's $2,000, $1,999. And the question is, what's going on exactly? Are they coming up with something new? Is there is there a recession? What are the questions? So I kind of pulled together a four scenario reason why the gear prices might be plummeting and why it's a good time for you to grab something on the market that you really need at a discount. Because if it works, why not? And of course, some products to kind of avoid, regardless. So the first category of products to avoid are number one, anything that's not standalone that requires a software to work. Yeah, red flag. Because what happens is these manufacturers stop supporting that software, and then you're left with an hardware with limited capabilities. That's not what you want. But when you have a standalone device, it will work for as long as you need it to work. Basically, one of those are outboard gears. They are gears. They have no software updates. There's nothing. It just does what it does, and it does it well. And that's why you can still see some vintage outboard gears still going for ridiculous amount of money. And just because they do what they do then and now, they still do the same exact thing, and it works and is applicable, and you still get your value. There's a reason the LA2A still sells for like $7,000 to $10,000 depending on where you're looking. Even the mods and the clones, and you still will not get anything sub $500 except some minor ones. But even if you're looking at the warm audio version of that particular compressor, you're still looking at around $700 plus shipping and all that good stuff. So you want to avoid any software-based gears that requires the software to work. You want to avoid those on the used market, because what happens when it gets supported, when it stops getting supported, you stuck with a gear that probably not usable. I also make example of this 11 rack. It's an amazing gear. Software support ended, but then it's still a standalone device. It has a screen. I can use it. So yeah, avoid stuff that you can't make tweaks on its own. One of the reasons why I got my audio interface here, the Neumann MT48, it's going to be around for a long time because it's a standalone device. The compression, every other parameters that I need to set can be done on board with no software. So if Neumann decides not to support it anymore, I can still use that thing for what I use, and it's still going to do it well. I can still have my analog outputs and to send it up to another piece of gear. I actually walked into a studio the other time, and one of them was actually using the Universal Audio Volt audio interface. If you know that Volt, I'll put it right here. It has a 76 compressor in it, so he's literally just using it as a compressor, sending this like an outboard gear. It's basically treating a $200 audio interface as an outboard gear, and it sounds amazing on snare. I also saw Glenn do a demo on his channel using that same exact method. So yeah, people are getting creative and finding ways to get gears to do the things that they need the gears to do for less. And that's the whole idea of creating a home, or being a creative person, finding the best possible way to achieve this amazing result without breaking the bank or going into debt. Until you start making records for top labels and earning so much money, maybe then you can throw money away. But for right now, if you're in the situation that I am, or similar, you don't really have that much money to throw around, and you have other priorities that you want to spend your money on, and not some demo for some artist that's not gonna. Moving on. So I came across, or I pulled together, kind of a six reasons why the prices are dropping down. We just came out of a pandemic. So the first one is we came out of a pandemic. There were supply chain issues and everything was just going crazy. And now all that is, going down, is subsiding, and things are going back to normal, or already back to normal in some cases. So after the disruption caused by the pandemic, everything went away, and now people can get what they want at the price that it should be. For a very good example was my camera. I just sold it. It was the ZV-E10. There was a serious supply chain issue as of 2021, 2022, and it was going for like $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 on eBay on the used market. And I fell into one of those because I really needed that camera at that time. I paid $1,100 for it, and now that I just sold it on my car, I sold it for $500. So that it's not anybody's fault. It was overpriced at that time, and then everything comes to normal, and you can see used for like $500 or $600, and that's just what it is. That's where life is. Another thing is technology is advancing so much with the new release of the Quad Cortex. If you're in the guitar community, the Nano Cortex, that device has captured for less than $600 or thereabouts. That is amazing. That's technological advancement. So with more technologies coming onto the market, stuffs are going to get cheaper. You're going to start seeing gears that does things that are amazing for a fraction of the cost of like 3-4 years ago. There's a reason why electric cars are getting cheaper by the day, just because the technology to manufacture this stuff are getting lower in price, because you're no longer paying for the R&D at this point. People are finding cheaper ways to make this thing more efficiently, and that's gonna reflect on the price. So that's the second part. The third part is surplus inventories. People have no money right now to throw away, so all these gears gotta go because new stuff are coming in. These dealers don't want to hold on to gears that will be obsolete in the next 3 years, because everything is software based now. Things move fast, so when they have gears and inventories, they want to let them go fast, because before the next big thing comes in. And the consumer mentality that we have these days, everybody just keep buying something, so you don't want to keep a gear on your shelf for a long time. So they're talking to the manufacturers, hey, can you do a price cut? Can you do sell? Let's get rid of these old gears and let the new ones come in. So you're gonna get gears at an extremely cheap price, maybe not extremely cheap, but relatively cheap enough compared to how much you will pay for them at some other time. Another reason is economic conditions. Like I said earlier, things are hard. People need to let go of gears, and that's what you're seeing on the used market. You're going to see that on the eBay, on Reverb, and all these other places that we go to get gears. People are getting rid of gears, and like I mentioned in my old video about the Helix, a lot of people have bought the gears that they actually do not need within the pandemic, and just stock up on gears over time, just because it's a pandemic and people didn't have much to do. So a lot of hobbies sound engineer, hobbies music producers, hobby artists came out, and after the pandemic, everybody's going back to work, and they're like, hey, I'm not going to ever use this 1176 compressor that I bought. So here you go, Reverb, half the price. So that is also another factor. I'm also a victim of this. I bought a lot of gears during the pandemic that right now I just don't use them anymore, and I just had to let them go. Going back to my previous point, technological advancement. Right now I'm using an FX30. I had to get rid of my other camera because I don't need it anymore, because the FX30 does everything I needed to do at a fraction of the cost that it would cost me years ago to get a cinema camera for less than $2,000. So things change, and the last thing I want to say is the second-hand market. It's booming. Facebook Marketplace. I was looking for a DBS compressor, and I just went on Facebook Marketplace, went on eBay. I actually found a 2-channel compressor for $50. That is insane. It's over there. It just works. When I was looking to get my Oxbox came around $1,400 or something. I think I paid like $800 or $900 for that on Amazon, on the used market on Amazon. So these are the things that will happen over time, just because newer things are coming in, or people are just letting go of gears and devices. It's contributing. So it's not like, oh, something else is coming, but not really. So it could be a lot of factors or other factors that just play into place, that are making these gears drop in price. So here's the deal. Two advice: buy only the things that you need and buy stuff that are timeless. Outboard compressors, outboard preamps, softwares. If you're gonna spend money on softwares, don't break the bank. Like, look for sales. I've been eyeing the Sound City plugin from Universal Audio for the longest, and they were doing one of their Tuesdays promos, and I got that, $300, audio plugin for $30. That's like 10% of what it usually will cost. So look around for deals so that even when this stuff gets unsupported anymore, you're not at a loss because you will have gotten good value and good use out of them before they go obsolete. I hope that makes sense and helps somebody out there. So if you're looking for new gears, hey, last year's tech is always a better one. That's what Glenn said. And I totally agree with that. Get something from last year, get something from previous time. I just got the Otone Ampero. I've wanted that thing for the longest, but I just didn't want to pay that much for it. And I got it for like $300 on eBay, which is a heck of a deal. So yeah, stuff like that happen over time. Keep your eyes out. If you need something and you don't need it badly, spend some time researching. Just wait. Don't be in a hurry. Trust me, that deal will definitely come your way. And I'm telling you that from experience. So my name is Dami. I'm a sound engineer, guitar player, and everything in between. If you like content like this, you can like and subscribe if you haven't yet. I like that we're growing and we're building a community. I also have a Facebook group for the Line 6 Sport Express. You can check that out in the link. I have some presets of me playing the guitar. If you like what my guitar tone sounds like, you can check those presets out. They're completely free. You can leave a donation if you want. But until the next time, peace out and keep creating.